What is up? What is up, YouTube? How y'all doing, man? These people, they get a little bit of money and it changes how you think and feel about stuff. The game just lost it all in court. His label and home is just taken. We're gonna get into this video, but just to bring y'all up to speed, y'all know the game had a lawsuit on him. I don't know if y'all know. I don't know what, if y'all been following this. But apparently the game was involved with some type of reality show where the people is trying to, all the girls trying to win him over and go out on dates and stuff with him. But he was liking some girl and he took her to a club and he violated her. So she had a lawsuit on him. And he's like, man, I ain't tripping off this lawsuit. So when he ain't never respond, never came back or whatever. Then all of a sudden, the judge started getting serious. When he started trying to get serious with this thing, making excuses that he was at the doctor or the dentist or something, but they found out on his Instagram that he was posting like he was partying all night. You ain't been at no doctor. You ain't hurt. You out partying. So they slapped him with a lawsuit. He didn't even make it to the court and all this stuff, all this crazy stuff, man. So he didn't take it serious. Long story short, the judge said that he have to sell his house in order to pay this lady. He still didn't come to court. Now, the court has, he has lost and all this stuff. So let's see what they talking about. But this is, these are facts. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell. Hey. Let's check this bad boy out. Here we go.
You are giving me $10 million.
Let's go. Who's gonna give you $10 million?
Jayceon motherfucking Taylor,
also known as
The Game.
Let's go.
Is giving me $10 million.
Well, speaking of money, the whole lawsuit situation that you got hit with, that still hasn't gotten worked out.
Yeah, probably won't ever. I'm broke.
Lobbies and sweet grannies. Things got wild fast. The gavel hit like thunder, and boom, the whole game got flipped like a hot pancake on a sidewalk. A major lawsuit slammed down on the game, forcing him to cough up $7.1 million to a woman from his reality show.
That never happened to me, but now I think I'm ready to find that special someone. And I'm gonna give her 100%.
See, this is, yeah.
Game is looking for love.
You're gonna step into my life and take this journey.
And he's bringing 10 lucky ladies along for the ride. She's Got Game. New series premieres Monday, August 10th.
That's not just a loss. That's a financial earthquake. His wallet.
I ain't never heard of this series or anything. Did y'all let me know? All the fans, I'm pretty sure y'all probably know about it. But hey,
it's looking thin now.
This
and
is
honestly,
crazy.
This could be the beginning of the end for his empire. Flat broke. Let's crack open this mess and see what really went down.
I'm flat.
How did
broke.
The game lose everything, including his fancy home? We're laying out every piece of the puzzle. And yeah, giving away is Play-Doh. You catch the pun? The game Play-Doh? Okay, that's enough bars for now. Smash that like button and subscribe for more heat. Now back to this wild story. Have y'all kept tabs on the game over the past few years? Honestly, we might need a whole docu-series just to cover his drama. It never stops. From the very start, the game's been tangled up in some wild moments, but lately, it's getting crazier by the minute. Every year he ages, the controversy levels up. Remember last year when he got completely snubbed from the pop-out? That was the biggest West Coast hip-hop event in forever. And the game, one of LA's own, didn't even get an invite. That silence said everything. LA's biggest legends clearly don't want him around, and it's not hard to guess why. And what did he do in response? He jumped on Instagram Live and went off for 17 minutes straight.
I've been in this motherfucker since 2003, right? Because that's when I got signed to Aftermath, 2003. If you ask anybody, anybody that really know me that's in this motherfucker industry, and go ask Dr. Dre, man. Like, sit Dr. Dre down and really ask that about who I am and my character and, like what he really feel about me at the end of the day as a man. So if you could ask Nip himself, he would have told you, and he did tell you out his own mouth, what, I contributed, to his career.
I can't stand when people say that I, me, I did this, I did this, me. It was me that did this. Me. Come on, cuz you can't brag on yourself. Damn. You got to get somebody, pay somebody else to say all this stuff about you. At least pay somebody.
Straight out of West Side, Cedar Block, bombed him. And Top Dog know what it is.
Me.
Kendrick know what it is. Mustard know what it is. Ty Dolla $ign know what it is. Dr. Dre know what it is. Snoop know what it is.
A full-blown monologue, trying to explain why he was left out. Should I drop a clip? Maybe, or maybe not. Y'all already know it was chaotic. Let's not forget, way before that, he was throwing shots at icons like Eminem and a Dr. Dre. He dropped an 8-minute diss track that had people asking, is he saluting M or trying to drag him to the grave? Then he doubled down in interviews, claiming that Kanye did more for his career in 2 weeks than Dre ever did in years. Wild part? Dre was the one who discovered him. And now Kanye's playing the money man, blessing him with chrome Maybachs and controversial fashion statements. The whole vibe is confusing. So why hasn't the game been dropping new tracks lately? Well, there might be a deeper issue behind the silence.
Because he's too old.
Real talk. There's a reason Kanye's the one blessing him with Maybachs. It ain't just rich friend energy. Word is, the game might be on the verge of being homeless. Sounds extreme, right? Let's hope that part's just exaggerated, but honestly, things aren't looking good. I grew up bumping the game, and it hurts to see him in this mess. If he just stayed off social media and showed up where it mattered, like, court, he might still be living large in Calabasas. Instead, the man was forced to give up his $4 million mansion. That's right, this wasn't a I'm selling my house to downsize situation. The court snatched it from him. So let's break down what led to this downfall, where he might end up next, and how it all spiraled out of control. When it didn't even have to. This whole saga starts with a show. Chapter 1. She's Got Game. Back in August 2015, VH1 dropped a dating show built around the game called She's Got Game. The concept?
That was tight.
Industry friends brought in women to compete for his love.
That was kind of tight. She got game. She got game. The game. Oh, y'all know.
Imagine The Bachelor with a little more chaos and a lot more clout chasing. Think Love and Hip Hop meets Ego Trip. Now, if that already sounds ridiculous, it was. But at least the game still looked like the boss back then. He was calling shots, sitting in the driver's seat of his own show. But fast forward to now, and the only game he's playing is survival. Way before he was the game, he was just JT. Honestly, might as well have called him SB back then for Sad Boy. And what we're seeing now? Not too far off. Still, rewind to 2015. The game was oozing confidence, maybe too much. He wasn't begging for love, he had women battling each other just to date him. And that's when she steps in. Enter Priscilla Rainey, one of the contestants on She's Got Game. Remember that name? It's about to be raining money in her account, courtesy of the game himself. That's no joke. Priscilla Rainey now holds major control over his assets. Talk about flipping the script. Priscilla Rainey later came out and said the whole thing was scripted from the jump. Yep, according to her, the show wasn't real at all. She even admitted she was in a serious relationship, 7 years deep. That was just on pause while she stepped into the spotlight to fake fight for the game's love. Wild, right? But here's where things take a crazy turn. Because on the show, the game and the other contestants didn't treat her like just another girl in the lineup. No, they called her the fire starter. That was her whole label. And if that ain't some messed up foreshadowing, I don't know what is. Like every reality show, this one was packed with over-the-top drama, half-scripted fights, and a whole lot of yelling. And right in the middle of it all, you guessed it, the game. Trying to pick which actress he'd crown his girlfriend for the cameras. Spoiler alert, he didn't choose Priscilla. But even though she didn't win the man, she sure left an impact. Priscilla wasn't just loud or messy, she was the center of the chaos. You could tell from the jump she was being painted as that girl, the one stirring the pot. And what's eerie is how that same role would follow her and the game for the next decade. Now all that TV drama might have been staged. But what came after the show? That's where things got real. Priscilla filed a lawsuit against the game, and what she accused him of? That was not for show. She didn't walk away from the game show with a fake boyfriend. But she did walk into a courtroom ready to make sure the world heard her story. And what she lost in the finale, she gained in the trial. Big time. So instead of paraphrasing, let's go straight to the claim itself. But heads up, this next part is serious, and we're keeping it respectful. Any words that go against platform guidelines will be switched for safer language, but the point will stay clear. According to Priscilla's official lawsuit, during filming in Chicago back in 2015, the game took her on a private, off-camera date to a sports bar in the suburbs. That's where things allegedly took a disturbing turn. She claimed the game assaulted her by pulling up her skirt, grabbing her inappropriately on multiple parts of her body, and doing all this in front of a crowd. So here's where things get even more disturbing. During that night at the sports bar, the game and Priscilla Rainey were up on a raised stage, lit up under the bright club lights, right in plain view of the whole crowd. And that's when it happened. According to her lawsuit, the game lifted Priscilla's skirt and touched her inappropriately, grabbing her bare behind and private areas while everyone watched. She tried to get away, but he allegedly did it again, lifting her up and exposing her intimate parts to the stunned crowd. Priscilla was struggling, trying to pull her skirt back down and push him off, but he didn't stop. She said he grabbed her again and even juggled her chest in front of everyone, like it was some kind of twisted show.
Damn,
unbelievable.
Man. Why would
Fast
you do
forward
this?
3 days later, Priscilla finally confronted him. The scene played out on the show's tour bus, with cast members and even a film crew right there. Cameras caught the whole thing. Another contestant started the convo, claiming Priscilla had a secret date with the game, which was supposed to be against the show's rules. That same contestant came back looking shaken. Priscilla said she had only told the crew, not anyone else. Then the game jumped in, reminding her that he told her to keep quiet. Word for word, he said, "Don't mention it means don't mention it." Things got heated fast. Priscilla kept trying to express how upset she was, how the incident really messed with her. But the game? He cut her off, yelling at her to be a woman and shut up. His exact words. She didn't stay quiet. She pushed through, explaining in detail what had happened. What came next was even more intense. After throwing out a bunch of profanity, the game threatened her, telling her to get off this bus before you get your butt strangled, and saying he would choke her up. This wasn't just an argument. It turned into a full-on confrontation caught on camera. Right before the show even aired, in August 2015, Priscilla filed a lawsuit in federal court in Chicago accusing him of serious assault. But the game didn't go down easy. He dodged the legal system like it was a sport. He straight up avoided being served the legal papers. 5 different process servers chased him across 3 states, trying to hand over the lawsuit. One of them alone tried 41 times to catch him at his California home. So here's where the legal mess takes another wild turn. A magistrate judge scheduled a settlement conference for Juneteenth 2016 and ordered both Priscilla Rainey and the game to show up in person. But just days before the court date, the game tried to wiggle out. On June 2nd, he filed a request to postpone the meeting, saying he feared for his safety because of Chicago's gun violence. That's right. He claimed traveling to Chicago put his life in danger, especially given the city's reputation. In his statement to the judge, he mentioned that during Memorial Day weekend alone, nearly 70 people had been shot in the city. He argued that, due to his celebrity status, the risk of getting caught in violence or becoming a target was just too high. Now let's not ignore the bigger picture. Around that same time, maybe even before, the game had randomly jumped into beef with none other than Chicago rapper Lil Durk. So yeah, being in Chicago might have felt risky, but stepping into local rap beefs and then skipping court? That's not exactly a winning strategy. Because the game never showed up and kept ignoring the lawsuit, the judge eventually ruled against him by default. He didn't even file a response. Priscilla had been demanding $10 million in damages. She didn't get the full amount, but the judge still handed her a major win. And it all happened because the game ghosted the courtroom. So how did he react? Not in court, but online. The game jumped on Instagram and unleashed a long, angry post, firing shots at Priscilla instead of fighting his case legally. He poured all his energy into a rant. If he'd put that much effort into hiring a lawyer, maybe things wouldn't have ended so badly. Now, just to keep it respectful, we're cleaning up the most offensive parts of his post, but the vibe was full-on bitter. He kicked things off by saying, "Let's get one thing very clear. That thirsty mascot of a woman will never see $10 million or even a penny of my money." That's how he came out the gate. And remember, this was in 2016, right after he got hit with that default judgment. He wasn't having it. He went on to claim that people only believe headlines, acting like the ruling didn't matter just because he was overseas. Then he mocked the idea of her winning money, saying the judgment just gave her enough to buy a lifetime supply of lace front hair glue. The game jumped back on Instagram again, still firing shots and downplaying the lawsuit. He claimed, "If my lawyers don't respond to this case by the 26th, which they will tomorrow morning as soon as I'm back home, we're gonna eat this case like a box of Minion Twinkies on sale at Walmart." Yep, that's how he described handling a federal lawsuit, like cheap snacks at checkout. He also dragged VH1 into the mess, saying the network had a separate lawsuit filed against them by what he called a thought bot, and that they'd win too. Then in a post laced with insults and disrespect, he claimed the accusations meant nothing because, in his words, this Snoop Dogg-sounding liar has a history of theft, fraud, PR stunts, arrests, and some other trifling activities. He told fans not to fall for the headlines or believe the money talk. "Don't be fooled by these accusations or the Dollar Tree drama in the media," he said. "I put that on all my favorite auntie's poodles." Yeah, it was that wild. And then came the nastiest part. He said, "This woman ain't getting a dime. Every girl on that show will tell you I never touched her or even wanted to be around her. She got kicked off the show, and now she's filing this whack lawsuit. Probably had it planned before the cameras even started rolling." The game continued, claiming she begged for his attention the whole time they were filming, and when he curved her, it hurt her pride. According to him, she got hit with a major curveball, and like some women do when they don't get their way, they sue you. Then to cap it all off, he threw in some real immature shots saying, "This is a crying shame, so I'm gonna use the crying emoji. See you in court, Mr. Rainey." And yes, he actually called her Mr., mocking her appearance, saying her mustache was probably thicker now because spring was coming, and that's when his facial hair grows best. Seriously. But here's what makes this all extra ridiculous. This is the same woman he let move ahead on his dating show. This isn't someone he ignored. This isn't a random extra. Priscilla Rainey was someone he kept around, gave camera time to, and had no problem being flirty with. For the sake of the show, at least. Turns out, Priscilla Rainey claimed the whole show was fake from the start. She said the producers knew exactly what they were doing before the cameras even rolled. It was all a setup, a low-budget knockoff of The Bachelor, designed to stir drama, not real love. She also revealed she was already in an off-and-on relationship with another man, 7 years deep. She just hit pause on that to go film this reality circus with the game. And out of all the places she could have gone to speak on it, she chose thisis50.com. Yeah, 50 Cent's platform. She pulled up for a stand-up interview, literally, where she gave her side of the story and broke down exactly what she says went down. These allegations, they were heavy. But the craziest part? The game never seemed to treat them seriously. He ducked court appearances like they were spam calls. He ghosted the lawsuit like it wasn't real, like there was zero chance of a judge ruling against him. But by November 14th, things got real. The case went to trial. A jury finally heard both sides. And in the end, they ruled in Priscilla's favor. Game lost. Big time. And instead of taking the L quietly, the game tried flipping the script and sued Viacom, the network behind the show. He claimed they were the ones to blame for casting Priscilla in the first place. According to his lawsuit, producers ignored a doctor's warning that said she shouldn't even be on the show. The doctor flagged her history, including arrests for aggravated battery, and claimed she wasn't stable enough for reality TV. So the game filed for $20 million from Viacom, saying they set him up by casting someone who would later sue and beat him in court. That $20 million included the $7.1 million judgment he owed her, plus another $13 million for damages. But let's be real. The judge had already hit him with that $7.1 million payment because he ignored the case entirely. He didn't file, didn't fight, didn't show. That's not sabotage, that's self-sabotage. Now think about this. Even if you are a wealthy rapper, paying out over $7 million is no joke. especially in California, where taxes eat half your income. That means he'd have to make around $14 million just to pay her off after taxes. That's a mountain of money. 2016 was the year the game's career really started to stall out. Let's be real. His last big commercial win was back in 2015 with the documentary 2. After that, it's been crickets in terms of real chart success.
Wow.
Unless he made some major investments behind the scenes or stashed away a fat savings account, things have looked shaky, especially after he got slapped with that $7.13 million judgment. From that point on, his money moves just didn't seem to hit hard enough to come up with that kind of cash. And by 2018, things got even messier. The game had asked for a brand new trial in the S assault case, hoping to wipe the slate clean. But the judge wasn't having it. Not only was the request denied, but the judge straight up dragged him, calling his behavior toward Rainey deeply reprehensible. And on top of that, the game was ordered to finally hand over his financial records. Why? Because the court wanted proof, real proof, on why he hadn't paid a single dollar of the $7.1 million settlement. Priscilla Rainey wasn't playing either. She fired back by demanding the court hold the game in civil contempt for dodging payment. She even hired third-party investigators and claimed she had solid evidence that the game was hiding millions, spreading the money through multiple companies and entities he controlled. Because of that, she requested that he be forced to show up in court and speak under oath about where the cash really went. The game, of course, denied it all, but the pressure kept building. Rainey kept pushing, filing request after request to get access to his full financial records. Meanwhile, the game was taking more L's, like when he lost that $20 million lawsuit he had filed against Viacom. And guess what? After losing that battle, Viacom turned around and told the game he had to pay their legal fees. Double loss, but the drama didn't stop there. Priscilla went back to court again, asking the judge to punish the game for ignoring the subpoena she had sent. That subpoena was meant to uncover his assets, so she could finally collect her court-ordered money. Priscilla Rainey wasn't letting up. She hit the game where it hurt: his pockets. She sent a subpoena straight to his cannabis company, Trees by Game LLC, trying to track down his assets. But guess what? The company completely ignored her. No documents, no responses, just silence. That silence came with a price. The game's weed business reportedly had to start bleeding profits just to cover the weight of that $7 million debt. Things got so bad. The game was literally on the verge of being arrested. Yeah, jail time was on the table because he refused to explain how he planned to come up with the money he legally owed. An arrest warrant was actually issued. But right before things could go further, the game's legal team finally coughed up the financial docs they'd been dodging for weeks. And that's when one of the wildest financial twists in recent hip-hop history hit the scene. A judge stepped in and straight up seized the game's entire record label and the rights to his upcoming album, Born to Rap. You read that right. The whole label, LA Prolific, was handed over to Priscilla Rainey to start recouping her $7 million judgment. She didn't just get a check. She got everything tied to the album: royalties, ownership, future payments, even any salary. The game was paying himself through that label. She was granted full control, rights, title, and interest in all funds and assets tied to Born to Rap. This wasn't just a victory, it was a takeover. And let's not forget, the game had been hyping this project up like it was his final masterpiece, his grand finale. No wonder he was trying to drum up buzz. He needed that album to hit. But now, all the money from it was legally directed to go straight to Priscilla. The judge made it crystal clear: every single person involved, from distributors to music platforms to business partners, had to send all payments directly to Rainey's legal team. The court order said those checks better have her name on them until the full $7.1 million is paid up. So let's piece this together, because this chain of events is absolutely wild. She sues you. You don't show up to court. She wins a salty $7 million judgment. You dip with your money thinking it'll all blow over. And boom, she ends up owning the masters to your album and your record label. And to make it worse, that album, Born to Rap, barely sells. And your future projects? They flop too. Not enough traction, not enough money. The cash ain't rolling in like it used to. Now your house is being forced into sale just to pay her back. All because you didn't show up for a lawsuit you brushed off as nonsense. That no-show cost you everything. And here's where it gets even messier. You all know Whack 100, right? The game's manager. He's always popping up on streams with folks like Adam22, DJ Academics, and others. Loud, opinionated, and always in the mix. Well, guess who got pulled into this legal mess? Priscilla Rainey accused Whack 100 himself of helping the game hide money. On purpose, to make it look like he was broke and couldn't pay the judgment. That's some serious stuff. In court docs, Rainey's legal team claimed the game and Whack had been scheming together, doing everything they could to dodge.
You know that dude Whack did some time in jail, you know. It sure is funny how these jailheads get out and they smart as I don't know what. I don't understand that part.
Payment.
This is crazy,
During
man.
post-judgment investigation, her lawyers uncovered something shocking. The game barely had anything under his own name. Instead, he had set up revenue to go through Whack's companies, and other shell companies the game secretly controlled. Basically, money would come in, but not directly to the game. It was routed through a web of entities, keeping him technically broke on paper. But that's not all. Rainey's lawyer also claimed that the game gifted his house to Whack 100 to keep it from being seized. Like no payment, no exchange, just handed it over, trying to keep it out of legal reach. And even after all this, the game stayed defiant. In 2020, he jumped on Instagram, acting like nothing could shake him. He posted, "My guy working a regular job and driving a cool little whip. It's still cool after me. Stop letting social media mess your head up." A motivational message? Maybe. But coming from a man dodging millions in court-ordered payments, it hit differently. So the big question is, has the game ever paid that $7 million yet? And in true game fashion, he couldn't resist jumping into the spotlight to answer. He replied straight up, "Nope." No apologies, no explanations, just a cold, flat-out no. And that wasn't just a casual comment. It was a clear message. The game still has no intention of paying back the court-ordered $7 million, even after warrants, royalty seizures, and claims of hiding his assets under Whack 100's name. He's still dodging. In 2022, the game linked up with Kanye for a collab. But the twist? Rumors swirled that Priscilla Rainey would be collecting every single dollar from that track. Because don't forget, she owns the rights to his label, his royalties, and anything that flows through his music business until that $7 million debt is paid in full. By 2024, things had gotten even wilder. Priscilla was allegedly so locked in on collecting what she was owed, she subpoenaed the game's kid's school. Yep, she wanted records, proof of where the kid was enrolled and where the game was living. That move likely had one goal: confirm his address so the court could serve him properly and bring him back into the legal hot seat. She had already seized his publishing, his label, and a chunk of his income. Then by August 2024, reports claimed a private investigator had successfully served the game, summoning him to court again. Now, for anyone outside the US, here's how that generally works. If someone physically hands you court papers saying you're being sued or summoned, you're officially considered served. That means you're now legally on the hook. You have to show up. That's probably why Priscilla was tracing him through the school system. If she could prove where he lived, she could legally hit him with the paperwork. No more dodging. Around that same time, more news broke. Priscilla was preparing to seize the game's Calabasas home as part of her ongoing asset collection. That move had been approved by the court. She wasn't playing. It's honestly insane how far the game has gone just to avoid facing this head-on. Instead of dealing with it early and maybe walking away with a smaller price tag, he's been ducking, dodging, and running circles around the court system for nearly a decade. After getting served by that private investigator, the game was officially scheduled to appear in court on October 7, 2024. This hearing was crucial. It was his chance to argue against the court's order to seize his house. But in classic game style, he didn't show up. Again, even while skipping the court date, he was still trying to fight the home seizure behind the scenes. He filed motions asking the judge to throw out the sale order and release the levy on the house. His excuse? He He claimed he was never personally served with the paperwork about losing his home. Meanwhile, Priscilla Rainey accused him of pulling another slick move, transferring the deed to the house over to WAC 100 in an effort to block the court from taking it. She was convinced he was doing everything possible to hide the property. And while this court battle was heating up, the game was out here doing interviews, telling the world he's completely broke. Like broke. He said everything in his life is either rented or technically not in his name, and that he doesn't have a single dime to give to the woman who's been legally chasing him for almost 10 years. Quote, "Yeah, probably won't ever. I'm broke. I don't have a dime." By February 2025, the fight was still going. The game was doing everything in court to stop Priscilla from snatching up his house. By that time, she had reportedly already gained over $500,000 from his label, LA Prolific, which she owns, along with the royalties from Born to Rap and other projects. At this point, the game finally got some lawyers involved to try and help him hold on to what little he had left. His legal team told the judge that he does have rights to the house, saying he's lived there continuously and should be protected under homestead laws. But on the other side, Priscilla wasn't buying it. She told the court that he's hiding assets under other names, either through WAC 100 or through shell companies set up to keep the paper trail cold. Her claim? The game's playing a shell game with his money, and everything he claims to not own is still under his control, just behind smoke and mirrors. Fair game for collection. And by May 2025, the game officially lost his Calabasas mansion. According to All Hip Hop, a judge ordered the home to be sold off to help cover that $7.13 million judgment he owes Priscilla Rainey. After nearly a decade of dodging, delaying, and legal chaos, the house finally slipped right through his fingers. Rainey and her legal team had been fighting to get that house for a while. She estimated it was worth around $3.2 million. And in a court filing, her lawyer made it clear. There were no exemptions protecting the home. No homeowner's exemption, no veteran's exemption. Nothing to block the sale. Now you're probably wondering, how could a house be sold if it's not even under his name? Remember, Rainey had accused WAC 100, the game's manager, of being the middleman, the one holding assets in his own name to help the game hide his wealth. WAC actually sat down with DJ Academics to explain the situation. But let's be real, the explanation didn't clear much up. He danced around the real question. Is the game gonna have to give up everything? Here's the hard truth. If that house sells for the $3.2 million Rainey predicted, that still leaves over $3 million the game has to come up with. And with her having control over his label, his publishing, and every check from his music, he's basically boxed in from every direction. This isn't just losing a home, it's losing momentum. His music revenue, it's getting redirected straight to her. Any new projects he drops, she's cashing the checks. It's like his entire career is frozen until this debt is paid off. And worst part? All of this, every last bit of it, could have been avoided if he just showed up to court from the beginning. One court date might have saved him millions, a label, and a home. But instead, he played the long game and lost big. Let me know what you think about this whole situation. Is the game being reckless? Or is this the price of avoiding accountability? And hey, don't forget to smash that like button, hit subscribe, drop a comment, and share this video to keep the heat going. You're watching Viralux, and we're just getting started.
The game, ladies and gentlemen. I guess he didn't play the game too well. Jesus Christ. Oh my gracious, man. This is crazy. Seems he got what he deserved. What? Oh my goodness. Hey, y'all take it light, take it slow. $7.13 million. She ain't get that much, but she got $1 million. All I need is anything over $1 million. 1 million is where I'm at. Hey, y'all take it light, take it slow. Tell them Uncle Mike told you so. Peace out.